Flashed in. Flashed in.
Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday Resume Q&A. I'm Sally Calloway. This week's question comes from Tiffany. She is wondering, how do I handle gaps in employment on my resume? Great question. Let's talk about that. So there are many reasons a person may have a gap on their resume. Regardless of the reasons, the HR professionals, recruiters, and hiring executives that I've consulted with over the last 10 years all agree that it's important that you must be honest and address those gaps in employment on your resume. So here are some legitimate ways that you can spin gaps in employment in a very effective way so that you can stand out, beat the competition, and land in the yes pile.
In today's uncertain employment market, gaps on a resume due to periods of unemployment are typical. Other reasons for being absent from the workforce may include time away raising kids, furthering education, caring for a sick family member or your own illness, sabbatical, self-employment, or freelance work. I am going to show you some legitimate ways to spin gaps in a very effective way so that you can stand out, beat the competition, and land in the slim pickings yes pile. To avoid coming across as inconsistent, unorganized, or lazy, often seen as character flaws in candidates with gaps, or as though you are hiding something, you will need to explain any gaps in employment that span over a year or more. List only the years. No need to include the months in this case. You most likely will, however, need to include both months and the years on job applications. Unemployed and still job hunting. Note any volunteer work or community involvement, skills refresher courses, or recent certifications you might have gained while unemployed. The average job search lasts 40 weeks. To exhibit strength and character, it is important that you maintain and build upon your skill sets and remain a qualified candidate during your job search. For tips on how to do so, refer to my article on my website, careercoachsally.com, 4 innovative ways to stay sharp while unemployed. Be strategic with your resume format. Use a functional resume rather than chronological. Emphasize accomplishments and career highlights relative to the job descriptions you are targeting, followed by your employment history in list format, noting a minimum of 10 years of work history. Stay home parent. Having played the important role of domestic engineer is a legitimate reason to have been absent from the workforce for a time. However, rather than embellishing the title, simply state stay-home parent, 2012 to present. In bullet format, list skill sets acquired like organization, multitasking, coordination, planning, budgeting, meeting deadlines, being a hard-working self-starter. You might also note if you volunteered for the Little League team or any other volunteer organizations. If you have been unemployed for 2 or more years, you may address it in your cover letter by saying something like, "The length of time that I have been unemployed is not a reflection of my character. Rather than applying everywhere and anywhere, I am taking a focused approach and choosing only to apply for positions that I can truly see myself committing to long term." You might say that in an interview as well. Temporary positions through an agency. Group these roles together under one time frame using the position title relative to your industry. Then list a maximum of 6 bullets as you would under your other positions that illustrate accomplishments, quantifiable examples of success, initiatives that you developed, and any awards, recognition, or promotions perhaps achieved while in those roles. Formulate the wording for these bullets using what I call PSO statements, problems, solutions, outcomes. What problems did the company face? What solutions did you offer? What were the outcomes as a result of your ability to carry out the responsibilities of the position exceptionally well? Family or personal matters. To avoid appearing as a liability, especially if you are or you were or are still ill, note that you are returning to the workforce now that your personal matters are fully resolved. Regardless of whether your health is now picture perfect, speaking to your own personal illness can put you in the no pile fast. Garnering empathy is not a strategy you want to attempt to try when you are competing to re-enter the workforce. This is a sad but true reality. If the question of why you left your previous employer is asked during an interview, you might consider saying, "It would have been unfair to my employer to have continued to work there under the circumstances. Everything is fully resolved now, and I am eager to re-enter the workforce, and am committed to giving my usual 110%. Sabbatical to travel or do whatever. If you are blessed with the opportunity to just take time away from the workforce to regroup, travel, or do whatever, more power to you. This will make for great conversation during an interview. In bullet format, list new languages learned, volunteer experience, and any skill sets gained through this experience that will complement your resume and the objectives of the positions that you are targeting. In an interview, you might say that you chose to take advantage of the opportunity to travel or just take time off to reflect on your life's purpose while you had the chance, so that you can move forward with a positive attitude and no regrets. Emphasize the fact that the opportunity enlightened you and you are ready to return to the workforce and hit the ground running. Furthering education. Any employer that tosses aside your resume because you chose to take a break from the workforce to dedicate your focus on furthering your education is probably not a company that's worth working for. In bullet format, list awards and achievements and extracurricular activities that may be relevant to the industry and any specific job descriptions that you are targeting. Self-employment. You may have taken the initiative to work as your own boss while searching for full-time employment. This can be to your advantage, especially if the job description for the positions that you target state that the ideal candidate possesses an entrepreneurial mindset and is someone who is self-directed and able to work independently under minimal supervision. If, however, the job description states that they are seeking a candidate who thrives in a team environment under collaborative efforts, you might consider using freelance as your position title rather than owner or self-employed. Choose your position title based on the objectives outlined in the job description. Employers worry that candidates who have been self-employed may not like having a boss. Focus on the positive during the interview. Explain that you realize the advantage of being an employee and that you are eager to re-enter the workforce in this capacity. Are you ready to beat the competition? I think you are. To gain an extra edge among many other candidates applying for the same positions that you are, and to increase your chances of landing interviews, implement these 5 tips. Explain gaps on your resume and in interviews honestly and strategically. Spin the focus on positive outcomes and communicate your drive and commitment. Prepare multiple versions of your resume infused with keywords from and customized to each job description. Emphasize your accomplishments effectively by using the best format for your specific situation. Ensure that your resume is free of grammar, punctuation, and spelling errors. Think positive, be consistent with your job search, and seek assistance if you feel you are really making a solid effort but aren't getting the results that you hope for.
Thank you for watching this episode of Wednesday Resume Q&A. If you have a specific question about your resume, feel free to email it to me at coachsally49@gmail.com. Check out my website for more free, powerful resources on resumes to help you stand out in the 2014 job market and land a new job sooner than later. That's careercoachsally.com. See you on the next episode.